And then we put all these samples or these varieties in the map. So for example, Pink Lady, or sorry, Ariane is up here. Now we talk about Ariane. We have some samples in there. So Ariane is located here, okay, this point here, whereas, for example, Golden Delicious is here. So we were able to situate all these products in this map. The closer of the point to one of the directions that reveal some characteristics of this variety. And then another thing that you see here is this green lines and groups, because then we were able to classify all these 4,500 consumers in this map. Where are these consumers segments located in this map? And the closer is a consumer group to a variety, that means that they like better that variety, okay? So that the preference map is what is this, okay? So this is the other dimension I mentioned to you. This appears also, juiciness and crispness as also important. I think it's much better to interpret the results this way, okay? For the sake of this session here, is that we were able to segment the population, the 4,500 consumers. We were able to divide it in two mega groups, as it was telling you this morning. One main group that accounts for 68% of the population, we think that they like products or varieties that are sweet or equilibrated. And when we say sweet, we think that they should be above 14 Brix. Why is that? Because if we have a product that is about 14 Brix, which is not is quite high, I recognize that, we can ensure that the acceptance will go over 8 on a scale out of 9. So we have to aim for the best, okay? So I think we should go to this high. There are already varieties that have these characteristics, of course. And then this main group, we could classify it into, statistically, in two different groups. One part of this group that they like Brix high, and the acidity between 4 and 7 grams per liter. This is 62% of the population. But then 6% of the population, they didn't like at all acid. So they did actually reject products that were acidic. So they would like to have apples with acidity lower than 4 grams per liter. Representatives of these varieties here, you see Gold Chief, Pink Lady, Fuji, Rubens, and Golden. These were the varieties best accepted by this group, whereas this group first accepted was Fuji and then Golden. And then another completely different group that accounts for 32% of the population like acidic varieties. And when we say acidic, we mean that it should be above 7 to 8 grams per liter. And we didn't this is an error, because it should be the same number, 32%. These like acidic varieties, and then they have also, they are looking for also very crisp and juicy apples in that group. And we classify these as the varieties best liked by this group: Wisconsin, Ariane, Junami, and Rubens. You can see Rubens is appearing at the 4th place here and also in the 4th place here. So it's like a variety that is intermediate, or is liked by both kind of groups, which is perhaps something interesting, because with one variety you are accomplishing, or you are targeting two different groups. Now, how these groups relate to gender, age, and country that we measure. The first two is very easy. We didn't see any practical significance. You could see all the statistical significance that you like, but no practical significance regarding differences regarding age or gender. The differences among groups were the most 4%. And of course, they are very statistically significant, but of practical significance, it's very low, I think. You will not base a big marketing campaign, I think, in a just difference of a few percent. That's what we thought. That's why we think that age and gender were statistically significant, but of very few percent difference among the different ages, I mean, the different genders. Regarding country, this is how the two groups split, 68 and 32%. And then you see the different countries, how these groups are splitted. And you can see that for most of the countries, the big percentage was on the mega group A, on the sweet equilibrated varieties, and ranging from as low as 63% in Switzerland, and up to the highest was 76% in Poland. Okay, the only country that was a little bit different was in Germany. That in Germany, the majority of the group, the consumers were in the group of acidic varieties, but still, I have 42% of the people that like first the sweet and equilibrated varieties. So that was quite surprising for us, because we thought that we would have this myth that in the south they would like sweet type of products, and in the north, acidic type. You know, you could argue that Poland is not enough north because you have Lithuania or Latvia or the Nordic countries, but still, you know, it's 76% of people like it sweet and equilibrated products. Okay, so it was quite a surprise for us and for the group. And I can tell you that was a big discussion we had about it, right? Then the visual acceptance. Remember that we also asked the people how they like regarding the appearance. Huh? So here we have the percentage of consumers with the highest response. So they like it best, the appearance of these different apples. And we didn't see any difference about segmentation of the consumers. The first variety, as appearance, was Kanzi. Remember that Kanzi was one of the best accepted varieties from one group, but the lowest accepted variety for the other group. So we have a problem here because the people first buy by appearance, and they think they taste it, and they repeat it or not depending on the taste. So probably the people that are in the group A, that are like sweet varieties, they would buy Kanzi for the appearance, they will taste it and will not repeat anymore. So we have a problem here that I think it's one of the issues that we should address as a chain, and I'll go over that. So there is no correspondence between visual acceptance and flavor acceptance, say it that way. Now, the final question, and it's one of the questions we tried to discuss yesterday about how is a fruit can contribute to increased food consumption. We asked that directly. We had a question in the questionnaire. If you were offered these varieties, would you increase food consumption? Of course, you can argue that this is not very robust because for many reasons. But what we see is that if you break the consumers by segments and you ask the question for each one of these segments, then there is a good correspondence. This is for the group 1, that not one of the subgroups in the mega group A, the sweet varieties, and for the first varieties, Gold Chief, Rubens, Fuji, and Pink Lady, and even Golden, that were the group that was best accepted for this group, they said that they would increase very much, up to 20-25% of the consumers, they said in the questionnaire they would increase very much the fruit consumption. If you do that with the other groups, the variety mix will be completely different. So we think that yes, we can increase food consumption if we give to every consumer the right variety. It's just a matter of knowing which variety likes every consumer, which is not difficult, it's not easy as you will see later. Now, peach, okay? I'll go rapidly with peach. It was much complicated because we had to select varieties that mature at the same time and have a different characteristic. We choose peach and nectarine. We choose yellow flesh and white flesh. We choose superacid and equilibrated peaches. And we also put 2 different products. One is Paraguayo, as we call it, flat peach, the UFO peach, the peach plat, you know, all that new varieties, and the mountain goil, which is a clean stone non-melting fish that in some southern countries are eaten as a fresh product. This is how they look like. You know, not very much difference regarding the appearance, except for 2 varieties. One is this. This is the sweet cap, the flat peach, and this is the clean stone. The rest, I mean, unless you are an expert, you will probably not distinguish other than peach and nectarine. Now, this is how we gave the sample. In apples, we gave wedges of fruit, whereas here we gave the full product. Now, that's the map. And we had the sweetness in one direction, and acidity in another direction, firmness and juiciness in the other direction. There is another dimension which is important for peach, which in apple it is, but it's not as important as in peach, which is aroma. Aroma was the third dimension, becoming quite statistically significant. Now, regarding the group, we were able to segment using the same technique to segment the population, and then again, the same two groups, basically, 87% of the population, they like, again, more than 14 bricks. And then we divided this in 2 groups again. This group here, with 47% of the population, like it also, of course, sweet varieties, but higher firmness and higher aroma. You have here the representation of these varieties, Nectar Pearl, Nectarine, and August Queen from Italy, Nectar Pearl and Nectarine from France. And then a group which is quite important for the peach regarding consumption, which is 40% of the population, that they do not like acid at all. They reject it. Whenever they had acidic, they felt acid in the sample, they rejected. They gave a very low note to a very low acceptance. And the acidic part, or the acidic group of consumers liking acidic varieties was low, 13%. And in here, the city should be more than 10 grams per liter, with Nectar Rose, Elegant Lady, and August Queen. If you recognize these varieties, are a very significant part of the European production. Nectar Rose is one of the leading varieties in Italy regarding production, and Elegant Lady is one of the leading varieties for peach. So we are offering our consumers of peach something that is only liked by 30% of the population. So I think we have a problem as a chain here.